All right, so this is Todd Atkins. I'm here with Mayra Rodriguez from San Antonio, and we're going to kind of talk about some of her ring card kind of career and boxing. And so I appreciate you taking time to do this. And for everyone watching this, check out my sponsor, which is Live to Fight Design. You can get $20 off your order if you use my promo code. Now, kind of want to talk about before you got into boxing or anything involving combat sports, what was like your first introduction to, did you watch a lot as a kid or?
Nothing at all. I didn't know nothing about boxing ever. It was just so random. I guess I was going through a hard time, and my sister said that the Victoria's Secret models use boxing to help with the stress and all that. And I guess I had a friend, and she was a girl. She was an amateur boxer, and I just wanted to try it out, and it helped. It helped with the stress. I don't know. I felt better every time I got home. I felt more energetic and everything.
Now, so none of your family watched boxing at all?
We would watch the big fights, just like Oscar de la Hoya or known boxers, but it was nothing like where boxing, let's go watch boxing. No, it was just because my dad would put it on or just family, but it was nothing where I don't know. I had no idea about the boxing world.
So it's nothing that stuck with you.
No.
So you got into like the ring car girl stuff first, right?
No.
No.
That was after I
Oh,
was
really?
doing amateur boxing. But the people always thought I was the ring girl. So every time I would get to a boxing event, people were just assuming that I was the ring card girl. And I'm like, oh no. I'll go to like the professional boxing events, and people were taking photos with me.
Hmm.
But I was not a ring card girl until one time my bestie, I think they needed a second ring card girl. So she wanted me up there, and I'm like, really? Like, no, like I'm a boxer. I'm not a ring card girl. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. Just because I thought like, eventually I wanted to go professional. And I'm like, this is gonna definitely help with my, I don't know, I've heard about stage fright and all that. So I wanted to feel as comfortable as possible, and I went for it.
Now, how much have you done that?
How what? I'm sorry.
How much have you done that since then?
So I'm still doing the ring part girl. I have a show coming up for the TMB in about 2 weeks. Next and what is it? I don't know. It's 2 Saturdays from now.
But I mean, how
Yeah.
many shows have you done? Do you know, is it a lot or is this not so many?
It's just I guess maybe maybe 3, 4 a year.
Oh wow, so you've done a bit of it.
Yeah.
And kind of because I've never talked to anyone who's done that. I've talked to people all over the world in combat sports. I've never really talked about to anybody who did any kind of ring girl type stuff. So I was kind of wondering what your thoughts are on it when you started doing it. Kind of tell me, just overall impression of it.
So the ring card girl, of course, it's so different. It's a little hard just because of the high heels. So that's a huge difference. I'm used to being on the ring with just my boxing shoes. Uh, I don't know. It's a whole other feeling. It's just like you're hyping up the people. You're smiling. You're just being friendly, taking photos. Just pretty much just with the cart versus if you
Right, but
know
what I mean is like there are you looking to like take steps to other shows and
as far as the ring part
yeah.
or I guess I'm open to whatever comes up. I don't normally look for the shows. Uh, the people contact me, so I'm like for instance, I had a show one time with Nunez. It was a professional boxing event, ring girl. One of the people with the UFC saw me doing the ring card, and then they contacted me that night. they wanted me to do their show the following day, and I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. So I went for it. I think it was a televised fight, and that was a whole other experience for me. I've never been to a live MMA fighting thing. It's a whole other crowd.
So you said you were contacted by somebody from like Fight Pass?
Yes. I have no idea who saw me, but I guess when you're in the boxing world, people know people, and just people were contacting me, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know who was who, or I really, till this day, I really don't know. It was just, word of, so and so's looking for you, and I'm like, okay.
What they do, reach out to you through Instagram or whatever?
Yeah. I think that was through my Facebook. Yeah.
That's interesting. So tell me kind of like when you started boxing, what year was that? Do you remember?
My amateur or my professional boxing?
Just the first time you stepped in a gym. Do you even remember what year
So
it
the
was?
first time, let's see, it was actually a month after I had my second daughter. Um, so that was in 14, 15, it was in 16, January of 2016.
Mm. And like how many days a week were you training?
So when I first started, it was just, it wasn't every single day. It was just like maybe 3, 5, I don't know, maybe 4. It wasn't like something where I would go every day like I do now. It's more.
But tell me kind of like, because I used to train a lot of boxing on Oahu. I lived on Hawaii. I lived on Oahu for about 14 years. And I
Uh-huh.
trained a boxing gym there for most of those years. And
Okay.
kind of talk about your development when you first got there. What did you feel you were picking up?
Okay, so when I first got there, I really didn't know what to expect. There was no girls there. It was just a bunch of boys and men, and I honestly didn't. The coach got me up on the boxing ring, and I didn't know what a jab was, and I didn't know how to punch. I didn't know how to move. So it was just like everything was so new to me. I had to learn from the bottom to the top. I guess being a girl, it's a little different. I I guess I was like a little shy. I didn't really want to sweat and mess up my hair, and I don't know. I was just like really like low key, kind of like, okay. I was just in it just for, I guess, just the stress, just to keep myself active, my mind busy.
I mean, so, like when we trained, they would run us through kind of the same things each day. They had like squares on the floor, so we'd have to move around the squares, like shuffle our feet and whatnot. Then they would put us through some bag drills. Then we'd have to do like we did shadow boxing after the squares. Then they would put us through the bag drills. Then we'd either do some sparring or, you know, whatever. And then we'd kind of all do like group conditioning. So kind of tell me kind of what your training was like. How did they put you through, or did they leave you on your own at first, or what?
It, this is like a backyard gym, and
Yeah,
they
same
don't,
for me. I mean, it was
yeah,
yeah, it's basically
like a
free.
really small gym.
Yeah.
So whatever is available, that's what you could work on. If all the backs were busy, you would just kind of figure out something like, okay, I'll shadow box, I'll do this, I'll kind of like move my head.
Mhm.
But since I was so new, I didn't really. I was just like kind of looking at everybody and kind of copying what they were doing. Uh, and then of course I'll get my alone time with the coach and do the mitts and all that. But
Right.
it was more like like, look, we're gonna show you what to do every day when you come in. You're gonna do this, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it was
Mhm.
just like shadow boxing. You'll hit the bag 3, 4 times, then you go to the speed bag, the
Right.
double bag. Yeah, it's just like a little routine.
Okay. So like now when you're training, is it the same or different?
Oh no, way different. Yeah. And then of course I have a different coach now, and yeah, no, I don't slack at all. I'm really motivated. I know what to work on. I know what to do. I never feel lost. Not
But
no more.
is your training more formulated for you? Do they work with you more individually, or kind of tell me how it's
Yeah,
different?
he does a lot of like it's conditioning, and then we do that early in the morning. A lot of cardio, a lot of working out, and then at night we do the whole boxing. Um, he's he's pretty strict,
Mhm.
so you don't ever see anybody slacking at the gym. Everybody's always busy doing something.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel just about every day I feel like I'm gonna die or pass out or something. It's a whole other feeling. I feel like I can't go anymore. I'm so tired, but I don't stop. And you know, I don't know. I guess when at the beginning I used to stop when I was tired, or you kind of just do the bare minimum. But then now it's like, no, if you're tired, you're gonna go harder, because I start thinking like these are like the last seconds of the fight, and you know that's when you're gonna go really strong. You're not gonna give up. You're not gonna stop just because you're tired. You're gonna go harder.
So you like train the morning, work, and then train at night?
Yes.
Um, so you're kind of burning it, and you got to deal with, you have your kids too.
Yeah. So this is the workout in the morning, and at night it's only when I'm getting ready for a fight. So I'm getting ready for a fight, and that's what I'm doing. But whenever I'm not, uh, I'll just work out. Sometimes I'll work out twice, but not every single day.
And do you bring your kids to
I
the
just
gym or no?
I do.
Okay.
I take both of them. They were doing boxing. I was training them. I was taking them to some of the classes that I was going to, but they picked up on wanting to join the Krav Maga, self-defense and all that,
Mhm.
and now they're all into the whole MMA and all that. They don't want to do just regular boxing.
Do you mess around with any of that?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think I was gonna go to a class once just to see you know what the
Mhm.
hype's about. I've had a lot of boxer friends that go from boxing to all that, the fighting
Mhm.
with the MMA, the what is it, jujitsu and all that, and they
Right.
never come back to boxing.
Yeah.
And I know it's a whole other experience, so I think I would maybe want to try it just to see what it is, and then if something comes out of that, then I'm all for it.
I think it's the mentality. Some of them go to jujitsu. It's not necessarily as hard as boxing
Yeah.
to me. It's more thinking. Smart people really get jujitsu, but if a person doesn't like getting hit and stuff, boxing's never going to be for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. So
Yeah.
I
So
guess
maybe,
I'm curious, because when you see the fights, right, you
right.
start thinking like, okay, they're going longer than us, on the rounds, and like, like, do they get more tired, or is it? And then, but they're throwing everything. So, and boxing's just straight up hands. I don't know. I'm curious.
There's points where you can rest, like when they clinch up against the fence, a lot of
Yeah.
times there. It's the same in the gym, when you're training jujitsu, if you're doing like a lot of rounds, as you get better, there's spots where you're not in trouble. So you can kind of,
Okay.
okay, I'll rest here, you know, then proceed, you know. Boxing is a little more hard. I mean, you can kind of move away, maybe take a breather then. But jujitsu, there's spots as you do it more, you you can kind of figure out if you need to rest where you can rest. Yeah.
There's more resting time
No, I'm not
versus
saying that
boxing.
because some people, if you have great cardio, maybe you don't need, you can keep up a pace for a long time. But I think as you get more experience in grappling, you know where you can kind of relax.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would say. But I think some people they find jujitsu and they're like, no, or just jujitsu. I'm talking about, not MMA. I'm not getting hit. You know, I'll do this. So I think that might be why some of them don't come back. if I
Yeah.
had to
Oh,
guess.
okay. You're right.
Yeah, maybe. But so you started training in 2016. When did you think, okay, maybe I want to try to do some fights?
Uh, it was it was actually that year. Um, it was that year towards the end of the year. Um, I was off for the amateur boxing. And I was like, man, this is fun. I liked it.
Hmm.
It's so different from the professional boxing though, way
Hmm.
different. And I didn't understand what they meant by that until I became professional. And I'm like, oh, this is a whole other
Hmm.
deal. You would have to kind of live it in order to know what they mean.
Right. Because there's more points involved, kind of like point fighting, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, the boxing gloves is the whole, I don't know, the feeling's a whole other feeling and it feels so different.
Now that's kind of quick to get into it the first year. Was it something you were doing, or was it more the coach saying maybe you should do
Uh,
this?
I think it was both of us. I don't know. I guess watching like the whole, even when you spar, you get this adrenaline and it just gets you all hyped up. And then when you hear that a fight's coming up and you're like, oh, I want to join, I'm ready, and you just do it.
Hmm. So they were they said, all right, no problem. Because some gyms, they're more selective of who can
Yeah.
is ready and who can do it. There was none of that. They were just like, all right.
I
Is that
think
how it went?
you know what? I think for female boxers is different.
Hmm.
Uh, just because there's not a lot of female boxers that we get to spar against. We do more sparring against the guys there. So I don't know if we're ready before, just because our sparring's a lot harder because we're going against, of course, the guys are
Mhm.
always going to be stronger than women. And so
But
I think that's
is there a big pool of women fight? Like I know in Texas there's a lot of that coming up, amateur boxing.
nowadays.
But
Yeah.
at the time you were doing it, was there very much of a pool of women boxers to compete against?
No, it
Mm.
was really hard. Um, it was hard. Even now, even though there is a lot of female boxers now that it's coming up, just because of the weight class. So
Mhm.
for my two fights, I had to go up on weight. And I know you don't really hear that, and that's not common, but I had to go up a lot because I wanted to fight, and I don't know, that's what they had, and I I just took them.
Yeah, how many amateur fights do you have?
So I have, what is it, eight?
And then you had your first pro fight against like the MMA fighter, yeah?
That was the first one, and then I just had this last recent one
Hmm.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched both of them. So I
yeah.
can see what you meant by going up in size, because she was the first opponent was
Oh,
she's pretty big, yeah.
oh my God. And
Yeah.
you see, I think that's where I did the mistake where I I do, what are those called? The exhibition fights. And they always put me with the big girls, like big, but
Mhm.
I guess it's fair because they're bigger, but then I have the experience. So I'm like, okay, so it always goes really, really good. And I guess I didn't think about it through with this one. And I guess just, I don't know. I guess I thought I was ready just because of the fights that I had been doing, but no, like I said, the professional world's a whole other deal, and it's nothing to take lightly, and you gotta really be careful with all these little details, especially with the weight, because it's a huge difference.
Well, talk to me like after that match. What were your thoughts?
So, okay, so on that one,
Like
it
how
was
did
just,
you get back to okay, how long did it take for you to get back in the gym?
oh, right
That kind of stuff.
away.
Okay.
I rested maybe 2 weeks because what was it? The holidays were around the corner, and then the gyms were closed. So right before Christmas, I reached out to my coach Chato, and I've known him for many years, and You know, I wanted to keep boxing, but I knew that I needed Chato because he's one of the best coaches that we have here in San Antonio. I've seen him bring boxers from nothing to like way up, and just like the way their style. I'm like, I want that. I want to be that boxer, and I need him. So I reached out to him, and uh, he was straightforward with me. He kind of got on me because you don't just take a fight like that. And but I did explain to him, I don't know, I guess I didn't have the right coach at that time to guide me and to tell me what was right, what was wrong, or to study the girl, or to everything about that fight was just wrong. But I guess I stayed positive. I thought about it like, where, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep moving forward. I'm not gonna look back, and at least I have my foot in there. I know what it's like, and I learned from this experience, and live and learn. And now just keep training, keep doing good, and just the past is the past.
Now you had the fight in March. Like, how many more fights do you think you're gonna do in 23?
23. Let me see. So I'm calculating. There's like the promotions do what, like every 3 months, just about every promotion, 3-4 months. So I guess going depending on that. I guess depending on, I don't know. It's really up to my coach. I trust him 100%, and I leave it up to him. I could tell him about the fights. People have been reaching out, but at the end, it's really up to him. If he says I could fight, then I'm ready. If he says no, we're not taking it, then I respect him and I trust his decision.
But you don't have any kind of like, okay, I want to have X amount of fights before the year's over.
I would say maybe 5 by the end of the year. At least 5. I would be so happy with 5 fights.
5 more or
Yeah.
3 more? Okay, wow. Yeah,
Hopefully 5.
Yeah, that'd be good.
3, I'll be good with that too. But
now, have you gotten any influence from like the women's boxers that have been kind of getting really successful, like Amanda Serrano, Carissa Shields, people like that?
I haven't gotten nothing, but there was a time that what's her name? She messaged me through Facebook. My mind just went blank. She's like way up there. What's her name? Oh man, it'll come to my mind.
Yeah, it'll come back to you.
She reached out to me, and at first I really didn't even know. I hadn't even paid attention, but we were kind of chatting, and she was asking about my weight class and how many fights, and we're just going back and forward. And then I told one of my coaches, I'm like, oh, who reached out to me, like so and so, and they're like, are you serious? She wants to kick your. He's all like,
you think so?
I'm like, wait. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I didn't even snap. It was her. What's her name? She's like up there, zero losses. She fights, I believe, at like 115, or she's like really light. She's really close to Trejo. What's his name? I can't think of her name right now. Teniesa Estrada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then I'm like, oh my God, like, how can I not have realized that it was her? And then I'm like, I'm gonna contact her and see. But then she deleted her Facebook, and I guess she only has Instagram now.
But have you talked to her since then or no?
No. I feel kind of embarrassed for not even realizing that it was her,
But they think that she was trying to set up a fight with you. That's what your coaches were saying.
I don't know, or sparring or something. I have no idea, but I mean, for her to reach out, I know she was probably looking at all my videos or something. I don't know what. You know who I talked to? I talked to Cristina Mandy Fuentes from Laredo. I know she's gone to one of my sparrings. Her ex-husband, Pitbull, used to train with us. And she was there to guide me and she gave me some, pointers and uh so she was there kind of guiding me throughout the whole sparring and what to do, not to do. And I love her style of boxing. I usually go to her boxing fights whenever she fights. She hasn't fought in a while.
Now, how big are the events there? Because I see you have quite a bit of support in San Antonio,
How big
right?
are the what? I'm sorry?
Like the events, how much people come to when you have your fights.
Ooh, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be able to say, but I don't know. I sold all my tickets. I sold tables. And then I know I there was a lot of people that just went and purchased the tickets there. I wouldn't be able to tell you how, how much, but I feel that I'm blessed to have these many supporters, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, because it seems like you have a lot of support there, and you're able to do different things. I saw you did a video and like music video.
Oh
How did
yeah.
that come about?
So that I was actually I went to a weigh-in. At that time, it was AJ, one of our boxers at that time that was fighting. I went to support him, and there was one of a friend. He's a Mexican artist. He does movies and all that. I guess he took one of the producers just to see who I was. He introduced me, and then they told me, "Hey, would you do a music video?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what kind, right?" So then they kind of explain it. I'm like, "Well, what do I have to do?" They're like, "No, just be simple, be yourself, just kind of like I don't know." They explained it a little. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, when?" And they're like, "Right now." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "But we're here." And they're like, "Yeah, just go home, grab a few things, dresses or whatever, and meet us over here." And I'm like, "Really?" Uh, so then that came about, and then we needed a mailboxer. So I'm like, "Oh my God, AJ, I know you have a fight this weekend, but would you help me?" And he was all for it, and we had so much fun doing that video.
Now, what are they going to do with it? Like, where did they release it? I know I saw it online, but do you know what else
So
they're
I know
doing with it?
that's a huge you're talking about the Spanish music video, right?
Yeah,
The Morro y su Reunión.
yeah.
I know it's on YouTube. And I know it had came out on the news because it was just like something that it was one of their songs that they had just released at that time. Uh, I have no idea. After that, I just, I shared it and that's it.
Hmm. They shared it on the news.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that's pretty
the
cool.
Univision.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So like they knew who you were on the news, like they reporting, okay, you're in this video and so on.
Uh, I don't think they really knew who I was. It was just more about the artist, the song and all that. I guess
Hmm.
they have like a huge a fan, or they have a big crowd following,
Hmm.
and so it was about them.
So kind of tell me about San Antonio because I've actually never been there. Like I know you have a lot of support there. Just kind of tell me about when did you first come? Did you grow up there?
Yeah, I was born and raised here. Uh, I don't know. I love San Antonio. um, I guess we have a lot of boxing fans, and it's a big crowd. But now it's getting even bigger. There's a lot more promoters, a lot more promotions that, when it first started, it's getting pretty big,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
know you're.
loving it.
Yeah, it seems like you have a lot of amateur fighters and pro fighters coming from your area
Yeah.
and the surrounding areas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Is that because the Mexican influence, you think?
Probably. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also they're doing more promotion to it. They're promoting it a little bit more. You go somewhere and you'll see flyers, or what was it, on the radio station? I know they were promoting my fight. It was at the Hano radio station. because my coach at that time, he used to work for them. So they kept promoting it and promoting it, and that was the deal. So you hear a little more about it than before.
Yeah, it's strange because we have fights here. I live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they don't really promote it on the radio very much, or
Yeah.
boxing matches. Not really.
Yeah. Well, now they do. And I know there's a new promotion happening. Now they're doing it at there's this place downtown in San Antonio. It gets pretty packed. And I know we did our weigh-ins there when it was, what was it, the Frank Gore cart?
Yeah.
And it got pretty packed. Well, now they're gonna have professional boxing events there. I don't know if it was after they saw the weigh-in crowd, what it brought in, but now they're doing the fights there too. That's gonna actually be the first one.
Do you think you'll be on some of those cards?
Me?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I remember Frank Gore. He played for Miami Hurricanes, and he played for San Francisco. I think it might have been when I was like maybe high school or college age, if I remember. I think so. Yeah, because Miami still had a pretty good football team then, Miami Hurricanes. They were still, very competitive. Now they're not so good. But at the time, he was a great college player. And NFL, he was pretty good too. Yeah. Did he win the fight?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think either him or I don't know if he has a son. One of them was getting into MMA. He might have done some of that too, I think.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I think he did, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think he participated. Now, talk to me about the fight you won in March. Kind of maybe going into that. And kind of just give me an overview of. I watched it obviously, but your take on it.
So on that one, the whole experience was so different. I think on the first fight I felt overconfident, where you're supposed to get like nervous or something, and I hear that from everybody, but I didn't. But on the second one, I just like once I started warming up, because I was almost up, I even lost my voice. I was just like, what's this? Like I just didn't know what that was. I started like, I was excited, but I did get that nervous in me, and I was just like, okay. My coach advised me just not to pay attention to the crowd, just like keep my head down, just, just he prepared me mentally, which okay, I it helped a lot, I think. Just staying calm. The whole experience was so different and in a very good way. Even on the ring, I didn't let her touch me. Like I try not to, like, no, she's not gonna hit me. So I'll just go in, I'll move, I'll try and move. And my conditioning was way up there. I didn't get tired. I guess I saw opportunities and I took them. And my only regret was after I saw the videos was just that I think I took too long to come in with those jabs or to stay on her. I felt like I didn't throw enough. I could have thrown more, but.
And they, like you said, they haven't really said, okay, next we're going to do another one and X amount of, you're just kind of waiting for them to tell you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. How far do you think you want to go with the pro boxing?
So I want to get as many fights as I can before I turn 40. Once I'm 40, that's it. I don't know. That's it for me.
So you think it's interesting because like you have like a few more years, right? Like 3 or 4 more years. Yeah. So
yeah.
So you're just you're not thinking, okay, I want to get to here. You're just kind of looking at it as many as I can before 40.
Yeah, I want to do as much as I can. I want to just take it one day at a time. I just play it by ear and just, I could be saying this now, but then later.
Yeah, I mean there is opportunity to do other things with all these kind of weird boxing promotions they have now. There's
Right?
things you can do in boxing that besides the traditional professional boxing, like all these weird things going on
Oh
out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think about that stuff?
Uh I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Anything to do with boxing, I enjoy boxing and I'm all for it.
But do you pay attention to like any fighters that are professional right now?
I'm a huge fan of Tank
Yeah. Yeah.
Gervonta. So
Hmm.
I'm all I don't know, I'm always checking to see when he's fighting. I don't know. He's just the best.
What do you think of the Garcia fight?
So I knew he was gonna win. I didn't I don't know. I knew he was gonna win. I just feel that Ryan was overconfident and of course he's fast and I think he just came in with too much confidence and I don't know. I knew that Davis was gonna look for a mistake that Ryan was gonna do and he took those,
Now we
you
got
know,
Haney Lomachenko coming up. Are you going to watch that?
the what I'm sorry.
Devin Haney and Vasil Lomachenko.
Oh, when is it? When is it
I
coming up?
think it's like 2 weeks. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Versus Lomachenko. Yeah. What day is it? May 20.
May
Yeah.
20th.
Top rank. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you
Yeah,
think you're
I
going to
mean more
check
than
that
likely,
out?
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
always
there's a
watching the
string of
fight.
really good fights coming up in boxing that are pretty important, you know.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that one's going to be interesting too because I know Tank's got this legal situation coming up, you know. But one of those guys, I don't think the winner would fight him this year if it was an option, but maybe fight him next year. The winner of that fight possibly. Or Stevenson,
Probably.
Shakur
Yeah.
Stevenson possibly, yeah. So that'll be interesting to see who, because that's a big fight too. It's not as getting as much publicity, but those are two very high level guys, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that fight goes.
Do you think that they'll do a rematch with Ryan and Tank?
I don't think so. I mean, because it was a convincing win, and he's talking about going up to 140. So,
Okay.
you know, it may be down the road if Garcia can string some wins together. I don't think
I don't see it happening though.
because now he's getting with another trainer, or he's trying to. So that guy's probably
Yeah.
going to tell him, maybe we'll do one or two fights or something. I don't think they would just go after Tank again.
I honestly don't see Tank losing. I don't see anybody. I think he's just too strong. The one that has came the closest, I think, was Pitbull. Now
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like, oh, that fight. If somebody was gonna do it, it was probably gonna be him. But I don't see anybody else being able to take on Tank.
I think it was frustrating for him because Cruz is already short, and so is Tank. But when Cruz squatted, he was almost like on the floor, so it was like hard to hit him. It's
Yeah, and then he
such a
stays
small
like
target.
really tight. He
Yeah, he
stays
had a
really,
small.
really tight,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And he won't.
yeah, like a turtle, almost like the
Yeah, yeah.
shell, the turtle
Oh
shell.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched it. It was hard for him to get his shots in. Tank. So it'd be interesting if they fought again, what adjustment he'd make. But
I
yeah, I
doubt
think it was
it
just hard to
though.
hit him in that fight.
Yeah.
It's just the stars aligned for it to be difficult. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, as we're kind of wrapping up this interview, like, what's something you want to leave the interview on, or maybe to your supporters, or something that you're doing that you want people to know about?
Something that I'm doing with the boxing or with what?
Anything in general.
Let me see. I guess to all the females, because I don't know. I get a lot of that where they want to join the gym or boxing, or I see a lot of you know, males and females all stressed out, all going in through to like depression and all that. But boxing helps, and like it's like a non-judgment zone. You just go, you do your thing, and I don't know, you just feel really good about it. It's a whole other world that you won't know it until you join it. So just, for the females, try it out. Even for just for self-defense. It it brings up your confidence, and I don't know, it just you feel protected by you just, training. Um for everybody, it does help with just stress and depression. It I've met a lot of amateur boxers, professional boxers that, everybody goes through things, and boxing does help a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of fighters are battling stuff. Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Yeah, this is I don't know, it just helps. Just try it out. Just try it for a whole week and you'll see. And I know the whole fighting's not for everybody, but you don't necessarily have to go into fight or nothing like that, but just to train. I don't know. I feel happy when I train. Right after, I'm just like, you feel so accomplished and so confident.
Now, where are the best places people want to find you, like online, or if they want to sponsor you, for fights and things like this?
Yeah, so they could reach out to my Instagram, Mayra.rocks, RODGZ, Facebook, Mayra Rodriguez, and I got a TikTok now. So it's Boxer Mayra Rodriguez.
Because I know you're looking for some sponsors. Did you get a lot of sponsors? Because I
I
noticed
got a
you had a
lot.
lot of support, which
Oh yeah,
is not usual for most fighters.
yeah. And I'm so grateful for that. Really grateful.
How did that happen? Like you're just a good.
You know what? I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask, because on the last fight, I did ask, and it just went terrible. Even for like
Hmm.
the ones that were sponsoring my gloves, they didn't even come through. And the day of the fight, I was just like, no, you can't do this to me. And but this time I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna post like, does anybody want to sponsor me? And if anybody does, I'll let them. So then I had all these people, and I'm like, like, what do I do? It's a lot. So I was just trying to get to everybody. And, once I think it hit 13, I was just like, let me see if they all fit on my trunks, and let me see what I'm gonna, even like the outfit. I'm not all for like looking like, all fancy. And I just, on my last fight, I just picked out some boxing trunks that I had just to work out, and I'm like, these will do. Like, I just want to fight, and I just placed the logos of all the sponsors.
But I mean, it was. I noticed because I know a lot of fighters. They don't have an easy time getting. You got a lot of sponsors. I
Yeah,
mean,
even
what
until
happened?
I was
Were these
actually
people that
talking
knew
to
you,
somebody
or
else.
what?
I'm sorry.
Were they people that knew you, or how did that work?
No, random. Like there was one that reached out, and I'm like, oh, okay. He's all like, here, he cash app me, and I'm like, okay. He's like, can you stop by today? And I said, yeah. So I'm driving, I'm looking up the location, and it's downtown, and the parking's bad, and it's buildings, and I'm like, man, this is like a really fancy known, it's like a club, a nightclub,
Hmm.
bar, and I'm like, am I at the right place? So I'm just like messaging him, and I'm like, man, like what's going on? So then I go in, and I ask one of the workers, I'm like, hey, am I at the right place? And I'm like, well, your boss wants to sponsor me. And they're like, oh yeah, he left you the check and this and that. And I'm like, I'm like, no way. And then another one that's like really known on the south side. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Some I didn't even know who they were. I was just like, okay, once they told me, I'm like, whoa, okay.
Mhm.
Guajillos is like a really known Mexican restaurant. And I used to work out with him, and he contacted me, and I'm like, really? I'm like, you're gonna sponsor me? I love your restaurant. I'm always there eating either way. So now
Yeah.
I'm just like even more.
But you probably
Yeah.
won't even need sponsors your next fight if you already have all these.
I'm not too sure how that works, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna go with the flow.
You can get a banner. You can fit a lot of sponsors on a banner. You know,
You
that's
know, I
something.
had somebody tell me I don't have any tattoos, right?
Yeah.
So I had one of the sponsors ask me, "Is there any way that we could get you to get what's that? It's the henna or it's like an ink." He's
Hmm.
all like, "I noticed that you don't have no tattoos," and I'm like, "Well, if you could find somebody, I really wouldn't mind placing your logo wherever you wanted to place it." So I think that's a good idea. If I run out of space
Hmm.
on my trunks and top, I could also, put some henna around my body.
It depends on what the promoter lets you do. Some of them kind of don't let. It depends. You know.
But wouldn't they be able to? Because people have tattoos. So
Yeah, but like
what's
UFC,
the difference?
like UFC, for example, some of these promotions, like they don't let people
Oh,
promote sponsors on their TV time.
oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? So, like you're allowed to have sponsors, but like in UFC, no. You know, like you wear the Venom outfit, and that's
Oh,
it.
that's it. You don't
Yeah,
put
yeah.
logos.
Nothing
Oh,
visual. No, 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 no.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the
Oh,
regional promotions, they'll let people do it, you know, and that's probably what they're letting you do, you know, because they know the fighters need money, you know.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to tattoos, some of them will say no, you know, because that's our TV time when you're inside the ring. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you'd have to see if the promoter would allow it, you know. Some of them
Right?
do. Yeah, some of them
I'm
do.
gonna ask.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask to be prepared,
Yes.
and then I'm gonna get
Can
a
I get
Hannah
something on my
person.
back, or yeah, see if they let you. But it's a good idea. Now, I want to, like I said, I appreciate you taking time to do this, and you know, would love to talk to you again, maybe when you have another fight coming up or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So it's great talking to you, great meeting you, and as I said, I appreciate you taking time to do this, and hope you have a great night.
Thank you, you too.
Take care. Everyone watching this, appreciate it. Take care.